So this is my extended thoughts on number 4 for my top 10 things I want to see change in Disney Infinity 3.0 specific to the toy box. If you haven't seen the overall top 10 video, there will be a link in the description to get to that video. But this is just my extended thoughts on number 4, which is dynamic education. So dynamic education, what do I mean by that? Well, basically what it means is an ever evolving and updating resource to learn how to use the toy box. Right out of the gate for Disney Infinity 2.0, there was clear that there was issues because it was incredibly difficult to understand how the different, mainly Creativity toys actually worked and what they did. I mean, we didn't even get a description of what they did. It was simply the name of a toy and it had some properties. There was no indication of what this toy specifically does. In each Creativity toy, we have what in programming terms are called methods and properties, effectively, that allow the toy to do different things. But each of these methods and properties, again, had zero explanation of what they were, what they did, or what their expected inputs or outputs were. It was sort of left to you to discover yourself. Now, obviously, documentation and explanation of things can be difficult to do in a text form, which is why I'm proposing a dynamic education system in which, and again, I highly doubt that we'll see this come to light. What I would like to see, the ideal situation I'd like to see, is that for every toy, there is an information icon or a help icon that you can click. And in game, it aggregates community upvoted tutorials for that particular toy, video tutorials. I think it's probably too much work to create actual individual training, like in-engine, in-game training for each toy. I mean, that's still a possibility. But again, why go to all that work when you've already got this robust community who have taken the time to discover how these toys work, how they work together? Why not allow them to tell the rest of the community what they have learned by in-game videos that could be played from YouTube or whatever? If Disney were worried about, bad videos getting through, then they just have to, moderate those videos so that as fans, we can create great tutorial content like lots have, submit it to Disney, and then they go, this is great, we can approve this, and then include it as an option for viewing in the toy box. Now, as an example, I built a tutorial that taught people how to create a day-night cycle using some of the Creativity toys. Now, this is something that I developed obviously later in the toy box life cycle, but it's an interesting use of the Creativity toys. And so if it's not dynamic, if it's not something that can be updated later, then that content would be lost effectively in game, we're talking here. So I feel like it'd have to be a form that can be readily accessed. Now, maybe the simplest way to do this is to improve their website and basically allow access to that website through the game. So effectively building like a web browser or something like that, that they could access that content. Again, I understand that this is something that would require an internet connection, but we've covered it many times in the past, how that's just the reality of today. The way I did it in my site for Disney Infinity TV when we first launched and we were heading down this sort of wiki route, our system allowed us to tag videos with the different toys. And so if you simply clicked on, say, the logic gate, it would automatically show you all the tutorials we had created that included that logic gate. Now, ultimately, we didn't end up going down that road, but that is kind of the thing I'm thinking. So that a video tutorial is created or even a text tutorial, video or text, doesn't matter, but that is effectively tagged with every Creativitoy and toy used in that particular tutorial. This creates a wealth of resource from the community that people don't have to reinvent the wheel. If someone's already worked out how to do a day-night cycle, share that information with everybody so that we don't have to spend hours trying to work out how to do it ourselves. Every moment that we don't have to work out how to recreate something, or as I said, reinvent the wheel, is another moment we can spend advancing the technology, advancing the toy box. I don't think there is enough of that going on. And again, it's one thing for communities and fan sites like DITV and the fan forums and Vinylmation Kingdom and so on. It's one thing for those guys to foster those communities. But in my opinion, it is the responsibility of Disney to bring that to the much wider audience. Because the fact is, it's the minimum, it's the few, the hardcore community that are involved with these websites. But there's clearly a mass user base that either are not aware of those communities or simply can't gain access to them. So that's why I think Disney needs to create access to that community content as easily as possible. So that's what I mean by dynamic educational content. It's got to be, we got to have better training. The more training we have in the toy box, the better outcomes, the better toy boxes we'll end up with at the end of the day. So that's my number 4. Let me know what you think. Do you think we have sufficient education with the toy box currently, or how would you suggest that we improve the way to educate people to use the toy box? It's a really important question that comes up time and time again. So let me know in the comments and we'll discuss that in a future episode of the Inside Infinity podcast. Thanks for watching.